Good afternoon, class, and welcome to class number 2 of Personal Finance 101. As we've met last semester and last class, if you were enrolled in my course, my name is Professor Angie, and I'm here to teach you everything you wish you knew earlier, or everything personal finance related that you wish you learned back in high school. The lesson for today is very simple, but yet not many people do it, even though we all talk about it at the same time. Start saving early, because compound interest is magic, and it's going to be your best friend if you want to build wealth to support your future lifestyle and your future financial freedom goals. First, we need to understand what is compound interest even. Everyone's talking about it and I feel like I should know it, but I don't. So here it is, very simple. Compound interest is the form of gaining interest on the money that you initially invested or saved in a high interest savings account, and that money gaining interest over the years. So not only does it gain interest on the initial amount, but as soon as you gain interest on that, then you gain some more interest on top of the interest as well as what you initially invested. So it just compounds and snowballs bigger and bigger as time goes on. So obviously the longer you put and invest and save in that account, the earlier you start, the bigger the number will be in 10, 20, 30 years. Let me explain it in a way that you'll understand. Let's see an example. About $10,000, right? And you don't know if you should put it in a high yield savings account or if you should invest it. So let's see the two scenarios of if some person A does a high yield savings account for 20, 30 years versus investing in ETF. How much would that give them in 10, 20, and 30 year intervals? Before I begin, I just want to preface that I chose the 3.5% for my high yield savings account because I currently bank with EQ, and that's the rate that they give me because I put my paychecks into there. More than $2,000 a month, they will give you this rate. For investing in ETFs, I put a rate of return of 8% per year because my ETFs currently give me around 10% return per year, and I just wanted to be a little bit more conservative. Over here, we have person A putting $10,000 into their high yield savings account and person B investing their $10,000 in an ETF portfolio. So year 0, they both start at the same starting point. By year 10, you can see that person A has about $14,000 in their savings account that's grew from $10,000 to $14,000. While person B has about $21,500 in their investment portfolio, assuming they both did not put a single penny more into this $10,000 initial investment. By year 20, you can see that person A has about $20,000 in their savings account, assuming they didn't put any single penny into here. And by year 20, this almost quadrupled for the person B. So now he has about $46,000. And by year 30, we can see the $10,000 person A that put it into a high yield savings account of about a pretty average nominal rate has about $28,000 by year 30. And person B, who decided to invest in an ETF portfolio with that $10,000, they have about $100,000, $627. What I want you to gather from that example is that it's perfectly okay. There's no right or wrong answer of what you should do with your money. Whether that is option A, person A of putting in a high yield savings account, or person B putting it into an ETF portfolio and investing that money. All I wanted to point out for that example is that compound interest makes a huge difference when you span it from 10, 20, 30 years. You can see the gap between person A and B, the wealth, starts separating big between 10, 20, 30 years. So the class assignment today for this class number 2, is very simple as well. Look at your savings account. First, do you have a high yield savings account? Second, how much interest annually are you getting from that account? Is there a better one that's out there for you? I'm not just talking about the ones that have a promotion of, oh, you get 7% or 5% for 5 months and then you get 1% for the rest of your life. No, I'm talking about the one that's really consistent. You're gonna bank on that high interest. And if you already have a high interest savings account or high yield savings account, think about, okay, do I have enough money to potentially try out the stock market and invest in some safe ETFs that I can grow over 20, 30 years. Before you go off to your next class, I just want you to remember that today's lesson is compound interest is your best friend. All right, class, so that wraps up today. So I will see you next class and enjoy the rest of this beautiful day.